What up, YouTube? I would like to say good morning from Tomball, Texas. I am up really early. I'm always up really early in the morning, but I'm usually driving by now. But I have a strict time restraint on me. I can't be at the place until 10 o'clock, and I am only 12 miles away. So, I've been reading your comments this morning. Apparently, I'm a complaining crybaby. Go fuck yourself. So there was a glitch in the system. My macros that I was sending, because of the remote area that I was in, they were kind of sort of not being received, and the messages that were being received were coming from a signal that kept saying that Lathrop, California was still, I was in their jurisdiction, but I was in Texas, so that really didn't make any sense. So essentially, long story short, nobody was getting my macros, just the computer. And the computer, it just sends automatic shit based on whatever. It picks up keywords, and then it's like, oh, send this, send that, send this. So had I not done the voice my choice, and called the right people, I might still be sitting in that parking lot. Yes, freight was slow and low in that area, but I should have been moved and repositioned, and gotten to some freight. I should have never had to sit for an entire shift. But driver Teresa DeLeon, a request to pay a layover order in the amount of $50 has been processed for your pay. So there you go. Crybaby score number 1. Honey, I have battled more health conditions than you've had, probably good and bad days both in your lifetime. I have stared down death. I have done more shit and been through more shit. Crybaby is something I am not. I'm not a crybaby, and I'm not a quitter. So to all of those people, whoosh, move on to the next page. So one thing that I really do want to address is somebody made a comment about their mentor. There's a feed of comments going on about mentors right now on my last video, and I hear this shit all the time, and it sucks. I went through it, so I already know. A lot of people aren't as vocal as I am. There's a lot of people that are come on this on my feed, that I met since the first day at Corsicana Academy. They will tell you, I've been talking shit since day one. If there's a problem, I'm that person that's going to say something. Yeah, I'm that annoying chick that always has something to say, but I'm not doing it for attention. I'm not doing it to cause a scene. I'm not doing it because I'm bored. I'm doing it because problems can't be fixed if nobody knows that it's a problem. And then if you got a whole bunch of people sitting around during lunchtime at the smoke pit or wherever, and everybody's like, oh my God, man, they really need to fix this shit. I'm that quiet one observing, like, well, why the fuck aren't you saying anything? Why are you talking to a bunch of other people that are having the same problem instead of going to the people who can fix that problem? So I'm that chick who just sits back, listens, observes, and then I am the one who will actually take action. I'm always going to be that person. I have been since I was a very young child. My dad used to call me Mouth of the South, and y'all can see why. Does my mouth get me into trouble? Yeah, sometimes. Do I care? Absolutely not. Very few things in life have I ever said that I've regretted. When I'm wrong, I will say I'm wrong. If I need to apologize, I will. I'm a pretty laid back, down to earth person that I live my life a little different because my life has been threatened from me on numerous occasions, and I've lost a lot of people, aunts, uncles, cousins, those kinds of things. While they still suck, I only have 2 siblings left, and I only have 1 parent left. I don't have anybody else in my family. My family has just all really died. So when you go through some of the shit that I have gone through, and in such a fast and unexpected and timely manner, it puts things into perspective. And I just choose to live my life a different kind of way. Every day is my last day. Every day is my last day. Every morning I wake up, I thank God that I get to live another day, that I get to see my children, that, you know, I get to do all of these things. But every night when I go to bed, I pray for another day. But I live my life like a drug addict lives a sober life, one day at a time. So, having said that, and getting that out of the way, be nice to people. Stop with all the bullshit, man. Like, you're not cool. Being a plumber, coming onto a truck driving channel, calling me a crybaby, like, I hope you feel really good about yourself, that you're getting this itty bitty minute amount of attention for me to tell you to go fuck yourself. Like, if that's what you really wanted, you could have just asked and I would have said it politely. Life's too short. Life's too short to be mean and hateful. Just don't fucking do it. See if you can go one day without criticizing or putting down or talking shit to anyone. Just don't even say anything bad about anybody for one day. I guarantee you, you can't do it. But challenge yourself. Just be a better person. Now that we've got the house rules out of the way, one of the comments on this feed, people were complaining about their mentors, this and that. That goes on all the time. I've been stopped. The night before I flew out to Texas, I was coming around doing my post trip. It was fucking midnight. This kid recognized me. He was super excited to meet me, which is great. But I asked him, I was like, why are you roaming around the parking lot at midnight? Like, he looked really confused. I could tell something was wrong. Long story short, he was with his third mentor. He was afraid to get on the truck because her sleep was really important to her and he didn't want to distract her. Well, that story ends with me going turn in my TCAL paperwork and him with all of his belongings and the mentor saying goodbye to the mentor and moving on with his life, which is what you should do. Swift is quite aware that there's a mentor problem. Swift is also quite aware that there is a big shortage on mentors. They can't address an entire problem. They have to start with the little people that are making this problem so big. So my advice to you is not just hurry up and finish your 200 hours so you can get your own truck. I personally don't want you behind the wheel of any large vehicle if you don't feel comfortable driving it and you don't know how to do the mechanics, how to work the mechanics and the logistical part of this job. You can seriously injure yourself and other people. The driving is the easiest fucking part. That's why mentors just have you sit in the fucking seat and drive. If you have a mentor that just sleeps and tells you to drive, you need to ask for another mentor. There are good mentors, I know, because I had one. He still to this day calls and asks if there's anything that I have come across that he didn't teach me so that he can go and teach that to his other students. That is how much he fucking cares. And he's 27 years old. I'm fucking 40. There's not a fucking reason in the world that we ever should have got along. We were so different from each other. But it was just crazy enough to work. And it did work. I love Tony House. He is the best mentor that I've come across. And I have talked to other mentors. And there are some that flat out just do it for the money. And that's sad. Because in the grand scheme of things, you're endangering people's lives. So, I am not Swift customer service. I would just like to put that out there. A lot of you email, text, and call, with these problems. And while I will always be sympathetic and compassionate, and I want to hear these problems, especially because when you're driving, you need to get that shit off your chest. But at the same time, I can't help you. I can only advise you on who to talk to. And if you're having problems with that person too, I'm just a driver. I'm just a driver who shares my day-to-day with y'all. I don't work for Swift in any other capacity. You know, I'm just a driver. And, you know, I'm honored that y'all ask me these questions and come to me with your problems and concerns. But when I give you my advice, like call your driver leader, call the terminal manager, or call corporate, you know, I got chewed out just yesterday by a subscriber who, you know, I just recently started talking to, and he was really pissed off because he was like, well, you're just telling me to talk to the same people that, you know, they're fucking me over and this and that. Like, he was getting mad at me, and I'm like, I'm just a driver. I'm literally driving my truck right now. Like, I'm not that person I'm not the person who's going to fix your problems. Okay? So if you have problems, as many people do, whenever I had the problem, you know, sitting in the parking lot, I didn't call my mentor. I didn't call, you know, random people. I called the people who I needed to call. And that is what you should do. If you have a problem with your mentor, you start with your driver qualification leader at whatever terminal you're out of. If you have a problem with that person too, then you speak to the terminal manager. And if you happen to have a problem with that person too, then just call corporate. At the end of the day, corporate is who is going to make the big changes with their company. So I'm that bitch that's just going to start at the top. I don't mess around with middlemen, low man on the totem pole. I know there's a chain of command, but yes, I am that chick that thinks I'm above all the rules. I am, and I'm okay with that. I go straight to the top. I just nip shit in the bud. I just don't have time to be making all these phone calls. I got a job to do. But sometimes shit's gonna happen. I was really pissed off the other day sitting in that parking lot. And I got a lot of shit talked to me about complaining about sitting in the parking lot. And, you know, that's cool. I know that there's a such thing as slow freight. I'm not fucking retarded. But I knew that there was something wrong because of the situation that was going on with the messages that I was receiving from the macro. I knew that something was wrong. And the phones keep having to go down at the Houston terminal, which is why I couldn't contact anybody that I needed to contact. And I just kept getting put on hold and rolled over to these other terminals that this system kept saying I was still in California. So it was a different type of circumstance. I now am getting ready to reset in a few hours. And I already have my loads for the whole next week. So there was something wrong, and it did need to be addressed. And this channel is mine, first of all. And I can say whatever the fuck I want to, and will continue to do so. And just as well as you're allowed to, you know, leave your comments until I block you, and then I don't have to see that shit anymore. It's just, it's not cool to be ugly. It's just not. Like, move on somewhere else with that shit, man. Go find a fucking therapist to talk to, because you obviously need help. But the mentor thing, I didn't like that piece of advice to just hurry up and just, you know, just suck it up and do your 200 hours. I don't want you behind the wheel if you don't know what you're doing. And that's just me as a driver and me as a person on the road. It's so imperative that you feel comfortable and secure in your abilities to do the tasks that are handed to you behind the wheel, pulling this trailer, connecting the two to each other, the braking system, the macro system, all of it. You need to know how to do everything. If something fucking goes wrong, or a bell or whistle or whatever goes off, you need to know what it means. And if you're not getting that from your mentor, you need to stop, tell that motherfucker to pull over, and get you to the nearest terminal so that you can move on to somebody else. That is exactly what I told 50. Pull this truck over at the next terminal. I don't give a fuck if your load is late. I could care less what's in this trailer. I need to get the fuck off this truck now. And 50 is not a bad, he's not a bad guy. He's not. I was his first student. I think there was a huge learning curve for both of us. I still use stuff on my day-to-day that I learned from 50. We just didn't mesh well together. There's so much more behind the scenes personal shit that doesn't need to be aired out on YouTube. This is a channel where I talk about my truck driving experience and things that I go through as a truck driver. The other problems that we had that fueled the animosity from that video that you see in that video cut much deeper than anything that I could ever have in common or not in common with anybody. So yeah, there is a lot more to that story than just not being able to go to the bathroom and not being able to eat and driving for so long. So you have to speak up. I wish that more people were vocal like me. Yes, the world would probably be a really more annoying place, but shit would get done, and we wouldn't be in these types of situations that we get into. But please, for the love of God and for the sake of your life and everybody else's life, if you have a shitty mentor, even if you don't even have to get along with your mentor. Fuck what everybody else is saying. Oh, you just have to suck it up. Oh, you're being a crybaby. Oh, you're being this. Fuck that. Fuck them. If you don't feel comfortable, get the fuck off the truck. It is that simple. Yes, you may sit at home for a few days or weeks until they find somebody that you are compatible with. But these are lives. At the end of the day, this is not just a truck. This is not just freight. These are lives in the truck and out there and all the other vehicles that are at stake. It's that important. So figure it out. Do what you have to do, but do not sit in a truck with a mentor who you're not comfortable with and who's not teaching you shit, but just to steer this fucking thing in a straight line. Okay? So on that note, y'all have a great day. Take care of your business, man. This is your livelihood, but it's also your life. You need to think of it that way. Normally, I'm not so serious about life. I live every day to the fullest, as if it was my last. I don't take myself seriously. I don't take much of anything too serious. But when it comes to my job and this machinery, this is serious shit, and it is as serious as losing your life. So move on from a bad situation. You might have to be with a couple of bad mentors before you find that one good one, but it's worth it. It is definitely worth it. Not only to the rest of us that have to drive on these roads with you, but for yourself. This job is so rewarding in so many different ways, but it all starts with you. So get it done. All right, y'all have a good time. Happy, what is today? Wednesday. And don't forget to send a special prayer out to all those families of our fallen 9/11 victims. This is always a sad day in my family, and as well as it's a sad day in a lot of other people's families as well. So always think of the bigger picture. So many people live in this little bitty box. So much more going on in this world. And we're all a part of it. So make sure that you pay your respects today. And yeah, let's keep it going. Peace out.